Yeah, I was just now looking at your video post, and I was responding um, on behalf of your observation on behalf of the data that's used to form these figures on behalf of subjects pertaining to groups, different groups of ethnicity, and everybody really. To be honest, this type of thing happens all the time, where there's no certain control that actually deters any kind of manipulation in these kind of figures. 42% seems like a high ass number to just say 42% of black women never been married. Um, no one that's ever collected data on behalf of anything has went through all the possible and necessary channels to make sure that their data can hold up if challenged or questioned by any other individual or group. That's the bad thing about when you're throwing in figures. When you're actually going out there and you're saying 42% of black women have never married, and this is why they never married, and so on. If you ain't asked 100% of black women that question on why they didn't get married, and how the hell can you have 42%? Hell, let's be honest, they don't even ask a good fraction of the black women, you know, being the subjects of this research, these types of questions to even come up with a 42%. It really doesn't make any sense. Um, as a general audience, we need to really start watching these reports and start questioning the credibility of these reports. I mean, it's bad. It's a bad thing to see. Sometimes, a lot of cases, these reports make a lot of group of people singled out, such as when it comes to STDs and teenage pregnancy and welfare and other shit. A lot of more important shit than why people are not married. People walk around here just putting figures together and saying, you know what, AIDS has risen by 25% this year, and majority of those cases, more than half are African American. That doesn't look too good on the African American population due to the fact that it makes it look like more than about half of us got AIDS. Which, to be honest, that shit's not true. But when you're throwing in figures, people start to pay attention. But a lot of people really don't pay attention to where the fuck the figures coming from and how they're actually put together and how the data is actually collected. I remember a piece by Bill Cosby when he was so-called trying to, I don't do a little project of his own or experiment of his own, which I feel like he was definitely wrong for doing so. He had a black kid, a Mexican kid, and a white kid all go to college. Sponsored them to go to college. The white kid made it all the way through. The black kid made it to a 2 year associate's degree. The Mexican kid dropped out within the first year or after the first year. And he based his findings on three individuals, basically stating that, making it look like, well, Mexicans just don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't have, even given an opportunity, they're still not going to succeed. Black people are just lazy, don't want to succeed, and white man is supposed to be able to just surpass us by any means because they have more ability. There's no control. There was no control in that experiment. I don't know these guys personally. These guys can be at different IQ levels, come from different backgrounds, study habits, and so on. In different colleges, also different. It's a lot of other controls that was not evaluated before he went out and publicly stated his bullshit. And it's a damn shame that you got people walking around here trying to put some stats together as if they actually doing the research. You're not doing the fucking research. And I get tired of people looking at everybody as if we're lab rats or something. We're not lab rats with numbers tattooed on our asses and pins on our fucking cheeks. It doesn't work that way. We're not here for surveys and data collection and shit like that. That's the big issue, and that's the big problem. Because a lot of these figures and shit like that that comes about in the public's eye is very obscured and is very vague. You know what I'm saying? It's very vague. I mean, it really none of it is really, I feel, is really that credible due to the fact that the way that the data is collected is not even tip of the iceberg or even a fraction of a population that's needed to be discussed with. And that's like the running a presidential type of race and saying, hey, everybody fill out a survey and you write down how you feel about why black women are not married. If they send a ballot to every black woman on the face of this earth that will be considered black and say, hey, if you're married, say yes. If you're not, say no. And then if you say no, I want you to put down out of these selected few multiple questions or multiple choices why you're not married or put other, then that 42% don't mean shit. And they should be ashamed of themselves for putting these figures out there like that. I get tired of these bullshit ass networks such as CNN and ABC and a lot of other assholes that put out this bullshit. They're reporting networks and they put out trash. They put out a whole bunch of trash. Don't do any kind of real research. They don't. They believe that they don't. They get half the story and half the facts, if they have that. And the facts, remember, the facts that they're collecting comes from someone else. And they present it off as if it's their own. And we supposed to eat that shit up. Please, when you're seeing figures thrown at you, start analyzing that shit. Start finding out where that source got that figure from, and did that source that actually presented them figures did the proper research needed for those figures to be credible. People lie, and numbers lie too. It's just a matter of who collecting those numbers and where from.